Hello, FPL managers. We are back with the FPL Optimized podcast. This is episode number 106. I am Bas, the casual manager, and my co host is Sertalp, the data scientist. This is the podcast in which we combine analytics with the good old eye test. Data or grass, or data and grass? That's the question. So, in the previous game week, we had Sakagate, there was also Songate, we had the Cartel Gate. So, Sertalp, how did you deal with all of this?
Well, it didn't affect me to be honest. I mean, I was on wildcard anyway. I saw the
Okay.
whole debate about whether Saka was seen like entering the hotel or not.
Yeah.
It was just weird. I mean, the fact also the fact that people are thinking, there are secret groups where people share information is funny. I mean, we knew people leak information. There are people who share with certain people, not necessarily the same people every time. Like there are people who are leaking team information. It was the case even before. I mean, not specifically this year, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I think
Okay.
people are more um, upset when it's a low scoring game week, so they feel
Yeah.
like okay, they need to take the anger out of someone else. That's how
Maybe.
I see it. What do you think?
So just for the record, you're not part of any cartel, right?
Which cartel? And are you
I
a
don't know.
member of the cartel yourself, Buzz? I mean,
Well, I did sell Saka, but I
well,
can full
I was on
disclosure, I'm not
wildcard,
part of
but
any
if you
cartel.
sold Saka, then yeah, maybe you are
Yeah.
in the cartel.
No, but I had a lot of fun Friday night scrolling through my X timeline because on Friday night is actually my football night, so I play football myself, and then usually I get home around between 11 and 12, and I start checking my social media, and I saw all those tweets about the Arsenal players entering the hotel and people trying to find out who the player was with the hoodie. Was it Saka, or maybe it was Timber, or maybe it was Sterling? I mean, it was really, I would say, FPL next level. It was really lots of fun. But at the same time, I was thinking, like, because I had Saka on my team, and I was like, is it really worth keeping him with all these doubts about his availability and so many other options in midfield? So yeah, I decided to sell Saka Friday night. And then on Saturday, it looked like it was the right decision because he didn't play. But I sold him for Foden. So on Sunday, Foden didn't start. So then it wasn't too great. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'm quite happy to have Foden. Hopefully for the next game.
Yeah.
So that was certainly an eventful game week, especially what all the stuff that happened before. But as you said, at least for us, it was a bit low scoring. So let's take a look at our scores.
Yeah, I finished the game week with 37 points. You finished with 35 points, so well, another
Yeah,
win for me now.
yeah,
You have 5 wins. This was my second one, I think. So,
yeah,
well, we said it's a low scoring game week, so the safety score, this is something they FPL game week added actually this week. They also showed the safety score now. So it was 38 points, but I finished with 37, meaning that I got a very small red arrow actually.
uh, yeah,
But yeah, not. I mean, besides getting a red arrow on a wild card, uh,
yeah,
it felt like a regular FPL game week. It didn't feel that much special, to be completely honest. It's funny that I got Haaland and in a good fixture he blanked, but
yeah,
that's FPL.
yeah. And not only did he blank, but he just didn't do much in the game. So that's a bit worrying. But yeah, same for me. I mean, not a great game week. I've seen some worse scores on X from good managers. So yeah, it could have been worse. But there's of course also people who did better. I think what I didn't realize so much is that Salah still has an ownership, which is quite high. It's close to 40%. And I think maybe in on X or in let's say in the community, yeah, we see him a bit less now, but he still has quite a high ownership, and that of course helped all those managers the points that he scored on Sunday against Chelsea. For me, I had returns from Rogers and Raul Jimenez, so I'm quite happy to have him. And they were facing each other in that game on Saturday. It was Fulham against Villa, and they both scored quite early. So on Saturday, I had a really good start to my FPL weekend with Raul and Roger scoring. So I was like, okay, this is going well. But then after that, it kind of stopped. So yeah, not much happened. Could have been better because Rogers could have scored another goal. I think also Brennan Johnson had quite a good opportunity as well. So yeah, but that's FPL, of course. This week it didn't work, but okay. Well, this is what it is. Let's say for us, it's a game week to forget. And let's switch gears and start looking forward. So let's look at the fixture ticker.
Well, as we mentioned last time, I mean, City has a good run here. I mean, especially the next two fixtures against
Yeah,
Southampton and Bournemouth are relatively,
yeah,
they are both good fixtures.
yeah,
And then they play against Brighton and then Tottenham. So these fixtures are also marked as favorable, meaning that in terms
yeah,
of average projected points, they make into top 10 percentile. They play against Liverpool in game week 13. That's on the low scoring game week for them
yeah,
uh, in terms of, again, projected points. But then they play against Nottingham Forest at the end of this horizon. And that is a
yeah,
very favorable fixture, obviously. In the second place, we have Arsenal. They have three good fixtures, but all of those fixtures are towards the end of the horizon. They
right.
have three, well, relatively difficult fixtures. They play against Liverpool, then Newcastle, then Chelsea. But then the last three, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, and the Manchester United games are actually marked favorable for Arsenal. Um, for in the third place we have Liverpool. Liverpool is playing against Arsenal this game week. Not a favorable fixture. Actually, it's the projected points for defense and offense are both quite low. But then they
Mm,
have three good fixtures. They play against Brighton, Aston Villa, and Southampton.
yeah,
Then they have City and Newcastle. So it is like one bad fixture, three relatively good ones, and then two tough fixtures.
yeah.
In the fourth place, we have Tottenham. I mean, their only really favorable fixture is game week 11 against Ipswich at home,
Mm,
but they play against
yeah,
Manchester City as we mentioned last week. So they will play against City in game week 12, and that's actually quite low in terms of projected points, both defensively and offensively.
yeah,
And then we have Manchester United in the fifth place. They have two good fixtures in this horizon. The first one is Leicester in game week 11 and against Everton in game week 13.
hmm,
Others are not too bad. I mean, they play against West Ham and then they have a Chelsea game in game week 10. I mean, the projected points are low, but they're not terrible. But at the end of this horizon, they play against Arsenal, which is marked as a really tough fixture for them.
yeah,
Um, then we have Chelsea, then Brentford, then comes Fulham, Aston Villa, and Crystal Palace. So these are the top 10 teams in terms of
yeah,
average projected points. Any
yeah.
comments here?
With City, it's quite interesting, I would say, because game week 9 and game week 10, it's marked as favorable fixtures. And of course, yeah, the next game against Southampton at Manchester, of course, that will be a big game. But I'm actually also looking forward to like game week 11 and 12 when they play Brighton and Tottenham, two
Hmm.
teams who will attack a bit more themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think what we've seen in recent games with City is like the opponents have been so defensive, like also Wolves, and then you see City the whole time around the opponent box, right, playing the ball around the box, trying to get into it, but they really struggle to create opportunities like that, and probably that's because it's because they also miss KDB, of course.
Hmm.
But I think that's also why we've seen so little of Haaland because there's simply no space. So of course, I think I'm looking forward to game week 9, Southampton at home. I think that could be a good game, of course, for Haaland. But I'm also looking forward to these games against Brighton and Tottenham because probably he will get a bit more space there again.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, from
that's a
that
good point.
perspective, I would say four good games coming up for City. Quite happy to have Foden, even though it's a bit of a strange situation. It's quite unclear why he's not getting the minutes, but. yeah, hopefully he will start against Southampton. That would at least be good for me. Um, and for the rest, well, Crystal Palace is on the chart, even though they're here on the bottom, but it's still the top half of the chart. But you know, they've been struggling this season, and
Yeah.
I was looking at it because I still have Pedro Porro in my team, and this weekend it's Spurs away to Crystal Palace, and I was thinking maybe to sell Porro, but Crystal Palace they only scored one goal in the last three games, so
Mm-hmm.
it looks like they're really struggling offensively. So I think for that reason, I'll just give Pedro Porro another chance against Palace. Um, so yeah, it's just something on that. And then Man United. Well, we spoke about Man United last week as well, right? They have good fixtures, and
Mm.
last week they were 1-0 behind at halftime, but they looked quite strong second half, especially attacking. Rashford with Højlund and Garnacho, they did well. So I think that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And everyone who has Garnacho, they got rewarded with some nice points. That will be an interesting option, especially with those games coming up, like Leicester at home in game week 11, and then Ipswich, and then Everton. So yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on the United players towards game week 11.
Yeah.
All right. So it's good again to have this fixture ticker to give us a bit of context and to know which teams we should be focusing on. Let's now look at the optimal team for the upcoming game week.
So the only run I had was the optimal wildcard team with no transfers planned,
Yeah,
and well, typically we have a like heavy bench where there's rotation. We
yeah.
typically see two goalkeepers being rotated, but that's not the case this time. We only have Flecken
Ah,
as a playing goalkeeper
yeah,
for the entire horizon, and then
yeah,
Begovic is the bench goalkeeper. Essentially, it could be anyone actually.
yeah,
And then in defense we have Dunk, Guardiol, and Lewis. Obviously, we talked about City having good fixtures.
yeah,
So defensively, I mean they are marked pretty nice too. So the only time Lewis is bench is against Liverpool and Manchester United, and then he plays in the rest of the horizon.
yeah,
In midfield we have Rogers, Mbomo, Palmer, Eze, Son, and in forward we have Haaland and Woods. Also on bench we have Raul and Ait Nori. I hope I'm not butchering his name. They also rotate quite a bit. I mean, there are a few players who play in the entire horizon, but players like Dunk, Lewis, Rogers, Wood, they get rotated with Raul. And, um, so the at the fourth bench spot we have actually a bench fodder. So this
yeah.
is pretty. I mean, I don't see this happening quite often, to be honest, because when you are solving for no transfer scheduled, then it tries to use
Right.
every available space. But I think the fact that Holland is so expensive now is just killing the rest of the team, so that you have less money to spread around, and then have a team that's heavy on rotation. But still, I mean, two playing benches, fine, I think.
Yeah, and then this is basically, I would say, a three premium team, right? With Haaland, Son, and Palmer.
Yep, yep, that's true.
So
That's true.
then indeed you need to make some sacrifices somewhere else. But the good thing is that we have a lot of options in the cheaper brackets, right? In the attack, like here with Wood and Raul. You could also go for some of the Wolves guys with Cunha and Strand Larsen, who also have really good fixtures. So yeah, good attackers, but also Wissa is back from an injury, and yeah, you've mentioned already that Brentford has good
Mm-hmm.
fixtures
Mm-hmm.
with Flacken already in goal and Mabumo. I wanted to say Mabuemo, but no, Mbumo already in the team. You could consider adding Wissa as another cheap option, and of course, yeah, we have all the cheap guys in the midfield, like those Rogers. We have Johnson from Spurs. I still have Semenyo, who, even though Bournemouth, yeah, their fixtures turned a bit, but in the game against Arsenal, Semenyo looked really dangerous again. So I don't mind to have him. And then there is, for example, also Buonanotte. Someone mentioned that also an X. He's been doing really well for Leicester. So yeah, just to say, we have all these cheap options we can consider, and that's really nice this season, that you can make the mix with the premiums. And yeah, just a final comment in the defense. I don't have a City player, and that's, well, so far it didn't hurt me too much because City concede kind of almost every game week.
Hmm.
But now against Southampton, I'm a bit worried about that.
Hmm.
And the other thing is Guardiol, which I just checked, is 25% ownership, and he regularly scores a goal. So that's also something that hurt me, let's say, last game week. So I need to think about what I do about that. Maybe I need to get a City defender.
Yeah.
All right, but no, this is a nice looking team. So I guess because you wildcarded, you will try to save a transfer this week.
That's the plan. I mean, I was a little bit worried waking up to this morning and hearing that Son was not in training. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
what to make of it. Yeah, I mean, if it is something serious or not. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I will still probably try to roll. Obviously, like
Okay.
using my wild
Yeah.
card,
Sure.
this week. So I want to roll. That was the whole plan. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, if I need to make a transfer, I can do it. I don't. I really hope that I don't have to.
No, I will try that as well. The thing is, it's Liverpool or it's Arsenal Liverpool this game week, and I have Trent and Gabriel in the back. So, yeah, that's not the best, I would say. Two defenders in the same game, but maybe they can get an attacking return, or maybe one of them can keep a clean sheet. And I have Havertz, and I'm a bit worried about Arsenal. Looking at how they did at the game against Bournemouth, they missed too many key players now. But yeah, let's see. Maybe if Saka is back, that will make a difference. So I will try also to save my transfer. That's the idea. The team is still looking good for the rest. So yeah, we'll do that. And yeah, regarding Son, I saw the rumors. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be too worried. I mean, he finished the last game and he looked pretty fine. And I saw something that Ange said that they were not planning to play him anyway during the week for the European game. So I think they're just trying to take it easy with him during the week. But yeah, let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, well, I hope. Yeah, that's the case. Yeah.
I'm not part of the Spurs cartel, so I'm just coming
Spurs
up
card.
with this for myself. All right, then let's look at the captaincy options for this coming game week. And I assume Haaland will be the clear favorite. And I think there will be some people even considering to maybe triple captain him. But yeah, I don't know. After three blanks in a row, it's maybe not the easiest decision to make at this moment. But what is the data telling us, Sertop?
Yeah, before I tell that, but you're right. I mean, after the blanks, people get worried. But you also mentioned something nice. I mean, it's not only the blanks, but also the lack of
Yeah,
involvement from him.
yeah,
That was a little bit worrying. Um, but his projected points this game week, I mean, the in average it's 9.1. It's just amazingly high, and it's
okay,
probably um one of the best. Obviously, I mean, it's a really good fixture at home.
yeah,
Um, so I we talked about this again, like in the past. Triple captain is better to be used in a double game week, obviously.
yeah,
So I wouldn't probably use my triple captain, but if you are not thinking about double game weeks because they are, sometimes they obviously you don't get enough returns, or maybe you don't want to hold it too long, or maybe you
yeah,
are losing hope in your FPL season that you are looking for maybe a quick, rise in ranks. It's a
yeah,
really good fixture. I mean, it's a really good time to
yeah,
use the triple captain. I just think that there will be better opportunities, but as far as the single game weeks go, this is
yeah,
quite nice. Yeah, as I mentioned, his projected point is 9.1, and then in the second rank we have Palmer at 7.1. So there's almost like 2 EV difference between the top option and the second. So the Haaland is a clear choice here.
Yeah,
But after Palmer, we have Mbomo playing against Ipswich.
yeah,
6.2 average projected points, which is pretty nice actually. Like if
yeah,
this wasn't like a special game week for Haaland, probably could have been a good captaincy shot. Then we have
mm,
Watkins with 5.5 playing against Bournemouth. And in the fifth place, we have Son playing against Crystal Palace, 5.2. So since you mentioned that Crystal Palace is not doing well this season, I mean, he's also probably a consideration. But again, if you have Haaland in your team, I mean, that he's the obvious choice. Any
yeah.
comments on these?
No, I think you're right with Haaland. I think we might have now some concerns over his form, but on the other hand, during the international break, he did score a few goals for Norway, so it's
Yeah.
not like he stopped scoring. It's just that I think the City games have been a bit tough, and as we explained, there was just not much space for him. But yeah, you could also turn that argument around, I would say, and you could also say, well, he blanked now 3 times, so he probably will score again because he can't keep blanking. So yeah, I think again, Southampton at home is a good game, and yeah, we can rely on that. I won't use my triple captainship. I'm like you. I will I prefer to save it for later on for a double game week. On the other hand, I think what some people are saying now, like this season, we can probably expect less double game weeks, right? And with that
Yeah.
mystery chip, we don't know what it is. So likely, if you want to use the mystery chip in a double game week, and you also want to bench boost in a double game week, and you also want to triple captain in a double game week, then that might not all be possible. And I think that could be one reason why to go for a single game week, like this one.
Yeah, I think this is a good game week. I mean,
Yeah.
even have seen people triple captaining Holland last week actually in game week 8. I mean,
Yeah,
because
indeed.
people were
I did
saying
see
that
a few.
Wolves is his
Yeah,
favorite fixture. So I think one
yeah,
thing that we often miss is that future performance is usually independent from what happened in the past. I mean, even like in this
yeah,
case, like when we are saying, "Oh, Holland blanked 3 times," just like well, obviously it's not the same thing, but like if you toss the coin 3 times and then if it is heads 3 times in a row, like you're
yeah,
not going to say, well, maybe there's a higher chance of getting head next time. So obviously it is not like that. There are
no,
obviously like some other things, but I mean, you mentioned that, well, he played against Wolves and then they did pretty well defensively, keeping the City out of the box.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we don't know if that well then Haaland's performance can be explained with that, right? So it's not like he is blanking. Like as a team, they struggle to get in. So that doesn't mean anything for the Southampton game. I mean, Southampton is a totally different team. So Haaland's performance against Wolves is not related to how he's going to perform against Southampton. So that's why I feel like yes. I mean, maybe we need to follow how the players are doing, but unless their positions and their responsibility change, we should expect roughly the same output. So that's why I feel like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you are thinking of triple captaining, but you are like, oh, he's blank 3 times in a row. I mean, that's not a concern for me. I mean, I wouldn't be.
No, that's true. I mean, logically, it's not maybe, but it feels, it just feels like that.
It's,
You
it's
you
just
you would
like a
say.
bias, yeah, on our
Yeah, it's
part.
like Haaland, right? He can't keep blanking, but I mean, he could, of course. But I think what I sense or what I see a bit is that the opponents they found a kind of a tactical way to play against City, because I think Fulham did something similar, right? They were really defensive.
Mhm.
City was struggling with that, and then they just tried to counterattack. And of course, now, yeah, Wolves did the same. Of course, it helped Wolves that they went up with 1-0. So then, of course, they could sit back and they could defend, and yeah, City just had to try and find a solution for it. And I think the best thing that can happen for us as a City player owner on Saturday is that City scores early. That would
Mhm.
be nice, because then, of course, Southampton has to try something, and then there could be a bit more space. So Yeah, let's see. Probably Pep will try to come up with something for this. Let's hope they will score early, and then hopefully Haaland will score a few goals again
Yeah,
for us.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you're in the City cartel and know if Pep is planning something special so that Haaland will
yeah.
get a hat trick, just let us know so maybe we can
Okay.
triple
Yeah,
captain him in advance.
yeah, yeah. We'll let you know. That's what we do, right, Sertalp? We share information. We
Yeah,
don't keep it for ourselves.
true. And
All
which jersey
right.
are you wearing?
Yeah, I was wearing a City jersey today. I said, like, why not? I
Oh,
need to
see,
keep
you're
having
part of the City
confidence.
cartel.
Yeah. Well, I felt a bit like I jinxed it because I bought a City shirt like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I think Haaland started blanking. So I was just feels
Okay.
like I need to break that by just wearing the shirt again and showing the support.
So
And
if he blanks a fourth time, then it's definitely your fault.
yeah, I might do salad again. No, but I'm happy with
just
it.
just sell the
Yeah.
jersey.
It has KDB on the back, so maybe KDB will make a surprise return on Saturday. That would be nice. Huh.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, actually, I see De Bruyne in Fantasy Football Fixes model. He's the second highest EV, like projected point
Ah,
player. Yeah, well, if you have
let's see.
KTB in your team.
Yeah. All right. But having said that, also let's of course monitor all the European games that are being played this week. Like tonight, we're recording on Wednesday. Tonight is Champions League, and tomorrow there are still more European games. So of course, keep an eye on that in terms of injuries and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
as always. And with that in mind, I would say wait with your transfers until at the end of the week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we have the deadline on Friday, so don't forget about that one. Deadline on Friday. It's not like the other weeks on Saturday, so you need to fix your team on Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, shall we move to the mini league, or was there something else you wanted to cover, Serta?
Um, just wanted to remind people that we will have an analytics meetup in London on November 23rd at 12
Yeah,
p.m. at the Thirsty Bear. But besides that,
nice.
yeah, we can talk about the mini
And
league.
who will be there, Serta? Can you already mention some names?
I will be there. Nima will
Oh,
be there.
that's the
Simon.
most important.
That's the most important. Yes.
Yeah,
And also, well, lots of people from our Discord will be there.
cool.
Um,
Yeah,
Trout will be there.
nice.
Yeah, we have
And
a
it's
few people
free
who
of
are
charge,
coming.
right?
It is, yeah, yeah, yeah. It is just we will just
Yeah.
get together. It's not like an official event. We just
And do
reserve the
people need to
place.
register, or they can just show
No,
up?
no, no. They can just show up. Yeah,
Okay, the Thirsty Bear.
the
Nice.
thirsty bear.
That's a good name for a pub. All right, the mini league. We have 531 teams. So thanks again for joining. And as mentioned, we will close it at the end of the month. We think that's just a bit fairer, that people cannot enter later when they see that they're doing well. You need to join now to if you want to have a chance to win it at the end. So we'll close it at the end of next week, which is the end of the month. So yeah, the message is join while you still can. The code is 9GXNDK. And our leader from last week, that was Abhinav C. He had a tough game week. He just had 25 points. So that's what I mentioned at the start. There were some good managers who just had quite a bad game week, and Abhinav was one of them. And due to that, he's now number two. And the new number one is Ski Karde. I hope I pronounced that well enough. With his team, Okoli Dokoli. And he had a game week score of 53 points, which was, of course, quite good in this game week. And he's now on 585 points in total, which makes him the current number 258 in the world. So that's really good. And the number three spot stayed in the hands of Ray Sawyer with his team, De Bruyne Identity, after a good game week with 48 points. Keep it up, everyone, and good luck. I am currently number 22 in the. No, no, sorry, I'm not number 22. I'm number 20 in the mini league. Just
Oh,
wanted to
that's
mention
really
that. Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So I hope I can make the top three at some stage, so I can mention my own name at
You
least
can give a
once.
shout to yourself.
Yeah,
That will be
shout out to
nice.
myself. That would be nice. But let's see. I dropped a bit, so I need to see if I can come back. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. All right, but that's it for today. Please subscribe to the podcast so you will get notified when the next episode is out. You can also follow us on X. For Sertalp, it's at Sertalp Bilal. And for me, it's at Belfi BB. And we also have a separate account for the podcast, which is at FPL Optimized. And as we mentioned, probably you know by now, we also have a website that Sertalp is running. It's called fploptimized.com. Please go there because you can find a lot of data and charts that can help you with your decision making. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can also find us on YouTube. That's it for today.
Until next time, stay curious and stay analytical. Goodbye.